Record. All right. How do I make? There we go. Yay. Okay. Technology. Figured that out. All right. Thanks for being here today, you guys. My name's Melissa Risdon, if you don't already know me, and I am going to talk today about how do we raise our vibration in a world of stress. The world has gone crazy in the recent past, and we're part of it. And I think one of the things that we need to consider is that, are we going to be a victim to it, or are we going to prosper in it? And prosper isn't always just financial. Sometimes it's just being in a beautiful state, being an emotion of joy and happiness, being showing up as a leader and being the person that you know that you are meant to be, to help yourself and to help others. And so I'm going to just go through some slides here to really share some of my teachings and some of my knowledge and give you guys as much as I can in the time that I have. All right, there we go. There, you guys can still see me down in the bottom corner. All right, making sure technology is still all on. Yep, live recording. Okay, cool. So how to raise your vibration in a world of stress. How do you raise your vibration when you are in a world of stress? I'm going to go through it's 3 easy steps. I know it seems like it might be more than 3, but I promise you, you can actually break it down to 3 steps to really change what state of emotion that you're in. For those of you that are empathic, spiritual, sensitive souls, you can most likely feel what's happening in the world around us. You can feel the sensations, you can feel the stress. I feel a lot of stuff in my solar plexus and in my heart area. I can also hear a lot of chatter in my brain that's not always mine. And the cool thing is there's just 3 easy steps to be able to manage your self and help raise your vibration. Everything is energy. When you look at a scientific level as to what everything is, everything breaks down into energy. If you look down, in the molecules inside the molecules, you get down to the protons and neutrons, there's little things, itty bitty bitty microscopic, that are spinning around. And ironically, at the micro level and the macro level, it's very similar. There are molecules spinning around, protons, neutrons, electrons spinning around each other. You get at a macro level, the universe and the galaxies, they're all spinning the same. So everything around us is energy, and the energy in us emulates into the world around us. And our energy affects other people, just like other people's energy affects us. This is a picture from 2009. It's from a picture of an aura. Just to give you guys an idea, this is what my aura and the colors of my aura was just about 10, 11 years ago. And this is what my energy looks like. Each of you is going to have your own unique blueprint, just like we have our thumbprints. You're going to have energy that is specific to you. I kind of take a look at what are things that people tell you often about yourself. What are positive things people tell you? It could be that you're so funny, you have so much light, you have such amazing energy, you're just so soothing, I feel so calm around you. These types of qualities are definitely things that's in your energy, it's in your aura, and when you walk into a room or you walk near people, people sense it at a level they might not be conscious about. So pay attention to the things that you hear a lot about yourself. I say focus on the positive type stuff, because we do enough of a job of sometimes being critical to ourselves. So really focus on what it is that people are telling you that's positive about yourself. It gives you a good idea as to what type of energy you're in a lot of the time. So the main emotion that's happening nowadays with the coronavirus, with everything happening, is fear. And I always like to take a look from one of my mentors, Alice Armstrong. She teaches Understanding Men, and she always goes to the definition of words. So let's take a look at what the definition of fear is, because that seems to be the heightened emotion. If you drill down from stress, it's a lot of times, it's most time going to some sort of fear. So as a noun, it's an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. such as people believing, the coronavirus is dangerous to them. It's a threat to them. There's no toilet paper. It's dangerous. It's a threat to them. They don't have any toilet paper. Or it can also be looked at as a verb: be afraid of someone or something as likely to be dangerous, painful, or threatening, which is the heightened time we're in. So regardless of whether you're in a state of fear or not, we're interacting on a daily basis with clients, other people, family members, elderly people. Here in California, we're now starting to get on lockdown. People over 65, they can't leave their house. There's some rumors that some other things that are going to be happening. So there is this just heightened state of fear. So that's the definition of it. So we know what it is that we're looking at. The cause of fear, what is it that really causes fear? Like when we really get down to it. Some of the things that cause fear in our body, and I'm just not talking about like the outside things. Like there's outside things that happen, but as we know, there's some people who are terrified of a snake or a spider. There's other people who can't leave their house, and there's daredevils that will, climb Half Dome without, what's the guy that just climbed Half Dome without any safety gear? I'm blanking on his name, and the part in Yosemite that he climbed. But it's like, there's all different sorts of it. And so how it shows up in us is our physiology, like what is our body doing? Where's our focus, what we're focused on, what language we're using, our breathing patterns. I saw an expert named Dan Brule who spoke last week about breathing, and breathing has so much to do with our state of mind, our physical state in our body, than we actually even are conscious of. So why doesn't everybody just take a breath? Since we're talking about breathing, it's almost like when you say the word yawn. I have a hard time not yawning when I heard the word yawn. Now I'm going to probably yawn. So just take a breath, just an inhale and an exhale. And fear is a pattern of emotions, language, and focus. And what does fear do to your body, to your mind, to your spirit? It has an effect on us, on us individually. If you have not seen this before we get into how that effect happens on us, I want to go through, there's a couple different graphs that have this. This is the omega 1, and this is a graph of vibration of what different energy is. So shame is the lowest vibration at a 20. Enlightenment, peace, and joy, they're up in the 500s, 600s. This is on a Hertz energy scale. And fear is down, close to the bottom. It's shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and fear. And it's definitely a lower vibration. And what effect does fear have? Do I want to go that one yet? Yeah. Okay. What effect does fear have on yourself and on your body? When you're in a heightened state of fear, there's lack of trust in yourself. People will go into patterns of self-doubt. They will not believe in their ability. Being in a state of fear or a vibration of fear, it blocks your creative mind. So what's happening right now is a lot of people are, the live event industry. I do a lot of Tony Robbins events. A huge amount of people in that industry are being negatively affected by it because we're not having live events. We just had an event in San Jose that was canceled. It was 12,000 participants, hotels, airlines, individuals, they're all, affected by the cancellation. That's just one event, all the sports events, right? So there's a lot of fear that's happening. And what happens is it gets paralyzing and it gets stress. One idea for people in the live event industry is start leading some online classes of what are things that you need to know if you're going to host a live event in the next year. There's a huge amount of people in the live event industry that want to have life events. So if you're in fear, you're going to block your creative mind. If you're in a more beautiful state, you're going to be able to be more creative, to kind of think outside of your current situation. So fear can be very paralyzing. It adds stress in the body, which we know takes down our immune system. There's been ridiculous amount of studies on what stress does in our body and how it negatively affects our immune system. It's physically hard on our body. If you're in a state of fear, prolonged state of fear, you're going to be more exhausted. It takes energy. Another thing is you're going to be focused on yourself and not others. Definitely, I know for myself, when I'm in a state of fear, I'm focused on me, I'm focused on my challenges, I'm not focused on other people. And quite often, just switching your focus to focusing on how can I help somebody else will help your own self in that state of fear. Another thing is it can cause tunnel vision, where you're just really only focused on certain things. And what happens when you're in tunnel vision, you delete things that are outside of you. So, a lot of women have very open eyesight, open energy, a world of possibility. And when you're in a state of stress, it's like it just deletes everything out. Your energy is also very contracted. So your energy comes also, like if you have really big energy when you're in a state of stress, it shrinks in to you. It can be very physical. It can be hard on your body physically. Like your body can also show up hard, like stress. People get in the back of their neck and then their triceps. They'll actually get knots in their body. So it can make your body actually physically hard. You are going to be doing more disempowering behavior. This is a great time to watch emotional eating. Been guilty of that myself over the last couple of days. Like, let's have a little more sugar because it's just the world's gone mad. You're also focused is either going to be in the past or in the future. More times than not, when you're focused on the present, that is where, that's the only place to be. Like the only place you can feel something is in the present moment. If you're focused in the future or if you're focused in the past, that will also heighten your stress levels. A lot of people, if you're focused on the future, will invoke anxiety. If you're focused on the past, it will invoke depression. So we're most likely going to be dealing with a lot of people in our lives that are going to be high anxiety or also depressed because their focus is going to be in the past or in the future. And you might also be experiencing that yourself. So how else does our energy affect others? There was an amazing pseudoscientist, Masaru Emoto, that did some studies who said that the human consciousness has effect on the molecular structure of water. He did studies starting in 1999 called the Messages from Water. And these are pictures that he took of the molecular view of water when he infused it with these different vibrations. So he would take water and he would intentionally put compassion in it and then take pictures of it. He would intentionally put thank you and gratitude into it and then he took a picture of it. And so these are, you look at these higher vibrations: compassion, thank you, wisdom, truth, joy, love, eternal, hope, angel, soul, harmony. Look at how beautiful these shapes are. They're amazing and they're wonderful. And this is the energy. You can only imagine when you're in a disempowering state, what's the possibility of what these molecular cells are going to look like, because who we are affects the world around us, and it affects us and it affects other people. Whoops. And these are some the negative ones, like if thank you, love, gratitude, and harmony on the bottom are really beautiful. And when you infuse it with evil, you fool, you disgust me. Look at how just the boundaries, like they look icky, they feel icky, where the other ones are just such a more beautiful structure. And so this is what's happening inside our body, inside our cells. What's the percentage? I forget what the percentage is that we are of water. A huge percent of our body is water. And so if you're in a state of gratitude, your molecules in your body are going to be in a more beautiful shape. If you're in a state of self-criticism, fear, angst, your water cells are not going to be in such a beautiful, beautiful state. And, that affects us. So let's, I was like, I got some stuff covering this. Okay. So before I get into the 3 steps, I want to tell you a little bit. Not everybody knows who I am or my past or all the training. I've been focusing a lot right now on doing intuitive energy clearing. For those of you that have been following me, you've been in my group, Spiritual Businesswoman, in Facebook. And this is just a little bit to know. I've got NLP certifications. I've got master practitioner certifications. I've got hypnotherapist. I used to do a radio show that was over 150,000 iTunes subscribers. I've done event management for people that are doing 20 events and 500 events. I'm also getting into my own events. I had my first workshop a couple weeks ago, was going to have one in a couple weeks, and decided to go ahead and do everything online because of the situation that we were in. So I was going to be doing one in Phoenix, and now I'm going to be doing that online as well. I've had thousands of hours studying and reading and attending personal development and human potential workshops and seminars, hours in Tony Robbins environments and the Robbins Research International. I'm a trainer in that organization. I've led firewalk teams, and I also had well over 20 years in corporate America. I was in the IT department, and one of the things that I loved about my corporate experiences, I was the go-between between the sales department and the programmers. And if you know anything about these two areas, they speak completely different languages. And one of my gifts is bridging that gap. And so one of my gifts outside of corporate is also bridging that communication gap, that we live in, you know, a logical world, and we're also in very much a spiritual world. So how do we bridge that gap between these two worlds? And that is definitely one a gift, which is why I can break this down is to how to raise your vibration in a world of stress. It's 3 easy steps. And why is it 3? Because 3 is an easy number to remember. So step 1, so write this down, you guys, if you're watching this, admit and acknowledge. This is so often a huge step that we forget. I'm going to stop sharing here for a minute. I want to talk to you guys. This is so often a step that people forget. You definitely want to be able to admit and acknowledge how it is that you feel, what emotion that you're feeling. Because emotions can be overwhelming, emotions can be scary, it's something that admitting, like, how I feel, there's no right, there's no wrong in how you feel. Just admitting and acknowledging it. You know, I'm nervous, I'm fearful, I don't know how I feel. These are things that you want to start to be aware of, because it's going to help you raise your vibration. Just that first step is just admitting and acknowledging it. Let me get back here on this. Admitting and acknowledging it. Whoops. And a lot of this is what are you experiencing? You know, like, what am I experiencing in this moment? What am I experiencing? And a great way to do that, if you can't put a name to it, is to acknowledge what's physically going on in your body. So, you know, how am I feeling? A shortness of breath, a tightness in my throat, a tightness in my forehead. Oh, okay. Wow. How am I feeling? I'm feeling stressed. Okay. All right. I'm feeling stressed. And this is a spot that you do not need to justify how or why you're feeling this. This is a great practice to do with people that you feel safe with coaches, with friends. You know, what is it that I'm actually experiencing, and how are you feeling? Like, experiencing in your physical body will often help you get to the feeling. Like, oh, you know, I'm just feeling sick to my stomach. I feel like I just want to throw up all the time. Don't go into what you ate last night. Go into just what is your physical body experiencing, because what you're experiencing will lead you to being able to raise your vibration. And this is a huge step that so many people just skip over. Years ago myself, when I was in therapy years ago, I started this. I was going through divorce, and it literally took me months to be able to put words to how I was feeling. I was recently in a relationship, and it took me a while to really understand, you know, sometimes some emotions aren't easy. That I'm not somebody that really looked at a lot of my life of, oh, I feel so disrespected. It took me a while to understand, what was I physically feeling in my body? What was I experiencing to be like, hey, wow, okay, I was just feeling disrespected in that moment. Or something happened recently, and I was like, what is it that I'm feeling? And so often we go deep into our story as opposed to just admitting, you know what? I felt dismissed. And just admitting of that will begin to change your energy without any sort of blame to anybody else in your life. Just taking that responsibility, being in that present moment of, this is how I'm feeling. And so with everything that's going on, you may be feeling fearful, or you may be totally fine, and you may see the world around you is crazy and fearful. And so it would be great to be a leader in your area and ask people, how are you feeling? What's coming up for you? Because that's a way that you can actually really show your compassion and really help others just admit and own what it is that they're feeling. This can also be on the positive side. It's not always the negative. The negative is sometimes harder to put a name to, but sometimes on the positive, it's like you're just so, overly excited. Sometimes I get super loud, and it's like, how am I feeling? I usually just go to the word fun or excited, and it's like, I'm actually feeling elated. I'm actually feeling, free. I'm feeling powerful. So these are things sometimes we skip over it on the positive just as much as we skip over the negative. So admitting and acknowledging is going to be a huge help to yourself, because it's going to help you to understand what vibration you're in. Okay, wow, I'm feeling fearful, or I'm feeling worried, I'm feeling really concerned. Then the next step is going to be, what are you going to do with it? So what does fear, so we're going to talk about fear because it's such a heightened thing. And this is also something you can help with loved ones, family, friends, clients. What does fear look like? Because sometimes we can't always put it to a place. So this is a great time. Got to share my screen if I'm going to be going to the next slide. There we go. All right. Woo. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. What does fear look like? These are things where if somebody does it, if you want to get to the nitty gritty, this is kind of like a leg up mood. I had a mentor of mine that always say this is like a leg up yoga mood. If you're going to move, if you're going to get deeper into it, what does fear look like? Like for some people, what's the color, the size, or the shape of fear? Like what does that look like in your body? What does it sound like? What's the volume or the pitch? And what does fear feel like? Think of it as a kinesthetic. Sometimes for me, energy really feels like a pixelated ball of dense matter. For some people, it might feel like a squishy ball. It might feel slippery. So these are things just to help elicit for yourself to get more clear as to what does it really look like, what does it sound like, and what does it feel like. And then you're using all your different senses. You're using your visualization, you're using your auditory, and you're using your kinesthetic, which these are things that are super, super important for you to be aware of, because it helps with the acknowledge and the admit stage. It helps with that first stage because you're getting really, really clear. So then you can go to the next stage, which is going to be, oops, I forgot I had this in here. Okay, maybe these slides are slightly out of order, but who cares? If you don't already know, there is a Facebook group called the Spiritual Businesswoman. So this is just a little gift to you guys, that I have a group that's in there that I do things like this. There's energy clearings in there. And this is something that you guys can go for free. It's an awesome little group just to stay connected, to talk about what's going on, and to take a look. I did over the holiday season, the holiday healing journey, and sometimes I do like 7-day little challenges to really help you. A thing that I love more than anything is the stuff around emotional mastery, really helping you figure out your feelings, because it's an easy subject for me. Step 2, get back into our 3 steps. So the first step was admit and acknowledge. Step 2 is releasing it. If you guys know me at all, you know that I love dogs. And if you ever look at a dog that gets in water and gets out of water, or a cat, they shake and they release all of the water off their body. Dogs also do this if they are at the dog park and they get into like a little tiff with another dog. They always say shake. A little tidbit for your dog owners: teach your dog to shake on command, and not talking about the paw, but actually the physicalness of their body. I used to do that with my dog, and it helped with her energy and her nervousness immensely. So that's like total side note, but it's just one of the things. It helps our little animals so much if you can teach them, because it helps them release their energy. And dogs are such amazing creatures, because once they shake, it's gone. So that's the visual, that's the idea of releasing the energy. So if you're feeling fear, worried, angst, any of that kind of stuff, the thing is, feel the emotion and clear the emotion. feeling the emotion, let's talk about this for a little bit. Feeling the emotion is literally giving yourself permission to feel it. There's been studies, and I know my mentor had shared with me that if you feel the emotion for 90 seconds, if you feel the raw emotion, you can't feel it for more than 90 seconds. The only way you'll feel it for more than 90 seconds is if you add a story to it. So there's, if you feel the feelings of fear, like think about a time that you were literally physically fear, like I'm afraid of heights. So if I get on top of stuff and I look down, I feel fearful. And when I really just feel the raw emotion, it comes like in waves. I can't really sit in that pure emotion for more than 90 seconds. Ever since hearing this, I have tried. I could stay in it when I feed the emotion, when I feed the story. So if I'm angry at somebody, if I just feel anger, it dissipates in less than 90 seconds. But if I sit there and talk about how this person did me wrong and they shouldn't have done that and I shouldn't have done that and they shouldn't talk to me that way and who do they think they are, then that's what feeds the emotion and that's what feeds the perpetualness, and it can make that emotion last for minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years. We all know somebody in our life, or maybe we were somebody in our life that did that, that has a perpetual kind of center of gravity of a type of emotion that they feel, and that's when they're just feeding the story. So clearing it is feeling it first is also just about expressing it. If any of you've been in any of my courses or anything like that before, I'm a huge proponent of imagining the person that if you're having like any sort of relationship and exchange with somebody, if you have something you need to get off your chest, get it off. Great thing is driving in your car, because you can say anything you want to anybody in the world. This is not something that you need a partner with. This is not something that you need to do with anybody else. It's just sometimes you need to verbally get out frustration and emotion. So if you're scared, if you're upset, talk it out. Talk it out with yourself. I shared a story before about, I was just years and years ago, I was going through a lot of frustration. I was angry a lot. And it was just like getting piled up in my body. So one night I went out to Target. I bought a pink wiffle ball bat. I put my dog up in the garage, so she was as far away from possible as she could. And I went over to my bed and I literally beat the living shit out of my bed until I didn't feel angry anymore. And it helped. I mean, I was crying, I was exhausted afterwards, but it helped so much just to get over that hump of being able to express it. Because what happens is so often we push it down, push it down, and push it down, and push it down, and push it down. And guess what? It shows up in our physical body. It shows up in neck pains, shoulder pains, back pains, chest pains, tummy aches. Like our emotions get stored. Emotions that are unexpressed get stored negatively in our body. So it's a good idea to actually give yourself permission to feel it without any sort of justification. And sometimes there's often somebody else involved. And I say, pretend that they're in the car driving with you and say whatever you need to say. Say the ugly words that you would never actually in a million years tell this person. Pretend they're there, because it helps. Like your brain doesn't know if it's real or not. What you're envisioning in your mind's eye, your body will experience as real. And so often we want to feel seen and heard and understood. And sometimes just venting and getting it out can be a huge thing to actually release it. The other thing that I recommend after you release it is doing any sort of energy clearing. So I do teachings from intuitive teaching where I say statements like, anywhere and everywhere I feel angry, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Anywhere and everywhere I am upset and I am angry, maybe at a certain person, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality. If I notice anger or upset or worry or fear is in a certain part of my body, I'll bring white light and energy to that area. Another great way to clear that is also breathing. Breathing is super important. And when you breathe, you want to make sure that your diaphragm goes down. So you want to make sure it's not the breathing where the shoulders go up. It's actually the shoulders stay down and the diaphragm comes out so that the bottom of the lungs fills up. These are all things, there's tons of different practices, but you really want to clear it, kind of like the dog shaking water. You want to have that in your mind about that the dog, the dog shakes the water off of its body, which is how you clear the emotion. So step one is accept and acknowledge. Step 2 is release and feel the emotion and clear the emotion. One thing I do have at melissarisdon.com free audio is a energetic meditation called Fear of Success. I called it Shatter Your Energetic Glass Ceiling, because there are so many amazing women who still have just the fear of success, fear of getting out there. You might have a big message, and this is just an hour-long, awesome energy meditation to just release that fear of success. This is a great time also because there's so much going on in the world, and there's a lot of uncertainty, to release any uncertainty that you may have about your own success. So you can head on over to melissarisdon.com/free audio. For any of my mailing list, I'll put that out, and on Facebook Live, I'll put that in the comments for you. And the Spiritual Businesswoman, I'll put that in the Facebook Live comments as well, so you guys can do that. But it's a great hour-long meditation to really get into clearing any of the energy that is keeping you stuck, that is keeping you playing small. It's a great way to help you raise your vibration. So that's another little gift I have for you that are watching. The other thing is step 3 is the new emotion. So it's super easy. Accept and acknowledge how you're feeling. Step 2 is feel it and clear it. And step 3 is the new emotion. What's the emotion that you want to replace with it? How would you rather feel instead? What resources do you need, and what can you do to change your body, your mind, your spirit, your energy? So if you're feeling worried and you want to feel calm, you would go through the process. So if you're feeling worried and you want to feel calm, you would go through the process of getting to the point of admitting, okay, I'm worried. And you don't have to justify why it is or what it is. It's just the raw emotion of, I'm worried and I want to feel calm. So then you would need to do whatever you need to do to really feel it. And sometimes it's just being present. We do so much to avoid how we're feeling. So just be present with, I'm worried. And even if you just let that kind of resonate in your body, that could be a good thing. Releasing it sometimes as simple as also doing what the dog does, of just shaking it off. If you can be present to it, feel it, acknowledge it, and then you can also physically just move or dance to your favorite song, and then calm. What does calm look like? When I'm calm, what am I focused on? What am I looking at? What am I physically doing? So when I'm worried, I'm feeling really condensed. I'm feeling really tight. When I'm calm, I'm feeling my chest is really open. My arms are back. My hands are open. I'm breathing. So that might be something that you could do to breathe, right? I want to feel energized. Well, is there a 30-second exercise that you can do so that you can feel exercised? I want to feel empowered. Okay, what has to happen in order for you to feel empowered? Can you remember a time that you felt empowered? Okay, what would it take for you to just go back to that specific time that you felt empowered, to breathe like you were breathing when you felt empowered, to see what you saw, to hear what you heard, and just be in that amazing state of empowered. Another great one for empowerment is the superhero stance. So if you stand like a superhero, when they stand up and they've got their hands on their fists and they stand like that. If you stand like that, I think the studies are, if you stand like that for 2 minutes, it like rewires your whole physiology. It's like, how do you want to feel? And then what are things that you could do to do it? And sometimes these steps are really quick. You're going to admit it. You're going to acknowledge it. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're going to release it. And then step 3 is, how do you want to feel instead? And other times it may take longer. This might be a time that you're like, I need to call somebody. I need to ask a friend. You can reach out to me. You can post it in the Spiritual Businesswoman the Spiritual Business Woman. The Spiritual Businesswoman Facebook group, and say like, hey, I need to have more faith. I need to have more gratitude right now. How can you guys help me get there? Because that's what the group's about too, is just helping each other. How can we lift each other up as women? We're spiritual. A lot of us are in businesses on our own, and how can we help each other? We're here. I'm here to help you feel how you want to feel. I think so much about life is about feeling. And how can you get to where you want to feel in a way that you want to feel as quickly and as efficiently as possible? And so often we're trained to do it on our own. Any of you grew up in the 70s like me, we were trained over and over with the whole mantra of I can do anything a man can do, but I can do it better type thing, where I can do it on my own. I'm self-sufficient. I don't need a blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Asking for help is a beautiful thing. How often has somebody asked you for help and you've so appreciated that they reached out to you? You appreciated that they asked for help. You were open-heartedly there for them. Well, guess what? If you're not asking somebody for help that can help you, you're denying them that gift. You're denying them the ability to help you, to serve you, to add to your life. When sometimes it's just about having an open heart and having the courage to be vulnerable, to say, I need help. Year and a half ago, I went through a breakup. What got me through it was I leaned on some people that are super close to me and said, hey, I need help. Because there's no point of suffering. There's no point of being in a place or a state of mind that you're suffering and being in a constant state of worry or fear or angst. That's in a state, you're in a vibration of suffering. And as we saw with the emotions, that's really low down on the scale. And you don't want to be in a place like that. At least, you might have moments of it. You don't want to live there. You don't want your center of gravity to be in those low vibrations. You want your center of gravity to be in the higher vibrations, because that's where you can make better decisions from. And that's where you can help more people, because you're in a higher place of vibration. You're in a more creative mind. So that how do you want to feel instead? What resources do you need? What can you do to change your body, your mind, your spirit, and your energy? Step 3. Super, 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 super easy. And what's possible if you were able to master your emotions? Let me talk about this for a little bit. So just think about what's possible if you were able to master your emotions. Okay. So for me, emotions are now, at this point in my life, they're fun. They weren't always. Emotions sometimes were really scary. Like I shared earlier, when I was in therapy, this was 15 years ago, I don't know, plus. It took me a really long time to understand how I felt or why I felt a certain way. And now I feel like I'm in this playground of emotions and energy. I'm very empathic, and emotions don't affect me. You can come up to me, you can feel any way that you want, and I'm going to sense how you feel. I'm going to feel how you feel, but I'm not going to take what you feel, carry it on, and then carry it around with me. A great question for those empaths or sensitive types is to ask yourself, because this is often what happens. Someone feels, let's use some examples here. I got my trusty little salt lamp. Somebody feels a certain way, they come up, and this is usually what empaths do. Can you guys see that? There's some rocks. There's some more. We sense, oh, they're really negative right now. And then what we do as empaths, we're like, I'm just going to carry around this negative energy with me. It's not mine, it's theirs. But they affected me. And then you're victim to it, as opposed to like, oh, they're really negative. Okay. We're just going to give that back to them. It's not mine. A great question to ask, a really empowering question to ask about emotions is this mine? If you're an empath, if you're sensitive, if you're a light worker, when you're sensing stuff and you're strengthening that muscle, you just need to ask yourself, is this mine? Guaranteed a huge amount of the time, the answer is going to be no. And then you get to shake it off. You get to release it. You can do cord cutting, energy work. Those are all types of things that I specialize in. Helping people with is just releasing and getting more and more familiar with how you can, what's the word? There's a word I don't want to say. How you can be more in alignment with what's true to your soul's vibration, and in alignment with what your truth is, as opposed to being affected or a victim to somebody else's. A huge amount of thing in the empathic world is that I'm around negative people and I can't be around these toxic people. Well, guess what? If you're the one, take full responsibility. If you're the one that's picking up and holding on to the toxic energy of somebody else, you're the one that gets to change it. I'm a huge proponent of take 100% responsibility. What if everything in your life was under your control? And what if everything was related to your vibration? Well, guess what's the number one thing that affects your vibration? Your emotions, right? Your emotions. Such a cool thing. So exciting for me. So what's possible if you were able to master your emotions? If you had more mastery about understanding how you felt and why you felt in all the different areas, because no matter how enlightened you are, I'm never going to be a monk sitting on top of a hill. I'm always going to have emotions, and I'm going to be able to sense other people's emotions. And the more I'm able to master my emotions, the more ability I have to teach other people about their emotions. And the more they have the ability to master their emotions and to be at the cause instead of at the effect. And so it's such a beautiful thing to be able to master your emotions. One of the things I'm going to be doing is starting, did I do both of them? Oh yeah. Okay. Master your emotions. I'm going to be starting a 6-week course. I just thought of this yesterday. So you guys are the first people hearing it. I'm going to do a 6-week course. It's going to start the first week of April. It's going to be $497. If this is something that speaks to you, click on that link or talk to melissa.com or just memorize talktomelissa.com. That is my calendar. It takes you right to me, and we'll get on a call and have a quick phone conversation. It's one of those things that even if you're just like, I'd love to work with you, but I don't even know what that looks like, head on over to talktomelissa.com, or you can even just send me an email and say, hey, I know I want to work with you. I know I want to do this course, because what I'm going to be doing the next couple of days is actually creating, all of the electronics that go along with that. So that's something I'm doing, because Master Your Emotions, it's been something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. And just imagine the possibility, and imagine how many more people that you can help when you're at a higher vibration. And how do you most quickly get to a higher vibration? You master your emotions. You understand what's happening in your body and in your aura and in your energy field to actually really get you where you want to go. So that's something I'm offering. I'm excited about that. And I thought I had one more. Oh, I guess that's my last slide. I thought I had one more slide in there, but apparently not. So yeah, so that's what's coming up. I'm excited to share that, excited to offer that. That's going to be starting the first week of April. And just think about all the different ways that you can master your emotions, and having that mastery. How is that going to help your clients, your family, your friends? One of the things that think about the relationships in your life that you're most triggered by, right? We're human, right? We are this magnificent, beautiful soul. We're having a human experience. Part of being human, it's triggers, it's emotions, it's this physical body. We live on a planet of polarity. It's yin and it's yang, it's yes and it's no, it's wrong and it's right. Like, we live in that world, right? So why not learn to have some fun in it? Learn to have some fun with being a human being, and be who you are, true to yourself, true to your liking, and be that magnificent, beautiful person that you are. And the fastest way to get there, in my experience, is mastering emotions and then moving up that vibrational scale, so that you are mostly in alignment with like a vibration of love or a vibration of joy. And when you are triggered, right? Because we're human. Family, hello, they're the greatest teachers in our lives. Somebody in your family triggers you. Okay, great. How can I take responsibility for what's going on? How can I manage my emotions, my energy, so that then I can interact with them more powerfully and be a more empowering individual? And so much of what we're dealing with right now is just the insanity and the craziness, is that people are in a state of fear. And if you want to learn how to rise above it, raise your vibration in a world of stress, because the stress in the world is heightened. It's at a heightened vibration. Then, let me know, and I'll send you information as soon as I get it all together about the 6-week course. I am so grateful for having you guys listen in, and appreciate you all being here. And reach out, talk to melissa.com, and I will talk to you all very soon.